Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to the No DQ live recap of Friday Night SmackDown for February 14th, 2020. A special Valentine's Day edition of SmackDown. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone out there watching this. I hope you had a great day, whether you're with someone or single. I hope you make the most of every day you have. Thank you very much, as always, for tuning in and watching the live streams as I talk about wrestling as only I can. Let's go ahead and get started. And by the way, shout out to CC Drink, who's in the hospital. Best wishes to you. I hope you feel better soon. We had SmackDown take place in Vancouver, British Columbia, which, in my opinion, is one of the most beautiful cities that I've ever been to. Very scenic, lots of things to do there. I highly recommend going to Vancouver if you get the chance. Great city, in my opinion. SmackDown started off with the introduction and botched pyro. They only had half the side of the stage with pyro going off. Something happened to the other side of the stage, and there was no pyro on that other side. Hero Villain with a $5 super chat. Hero Villain 5, I should say. First WWE show in Vancouver since Raw back in 2003. We've had house shows but no TV shows. Michael Cole did bring that up on commentary. He said almost 2 decades, and I thought it was 2003 when we had the last WWE televised show in Vancouver. So thank you for making that clear, clarifying that with us. The crowd was really hot. They were definitely ready for WWE television. And funny enough, you have that fan. He shows up at various WWE events, WrestleMania. He's always got that Vancouver for WrestleMania sign. I don't think it's ever going to happen, but man, that guy is really doing everything he can for the city of Vancouver to get a WrestleMania. TJS deciding to try his trolling skills tonight with a $2 super chat says, "Hey Baron, have you seen 3 from Hell?" Ha ha ha! Good one, TJS. You a funny man. You were quite the comedian. So anyways, we kicked off SmackDown with the moment of bliss. We had Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross talk about their celebrity crushes. And then Alexa introduced her guest, Carmella. Alexa said that she's not bitter about losing the #1 contender match on last week's show. She was just a little bit surprised to see Carmella emerge victorious because she really hasn't done much lately. Carmella talked about how she's going to surprise Bayley as well by beating her to win the Women's Championship on SmackDown. Carmella talked about how they used to be friends and there were pictures shown on the big screen of them and their friendship and all that stuff. But then, according to Carmella, Sasha Banks happened. And now Carmella doesn't know who Bayley is anymore. Bayley then came out and talked about how this whole segment is nauseating. Bayley said she tried to be friends with Carmella and felt like she could teach Carmella a thing or two about being a role model. However, Carmella is a loser. And then on top of that, Bayley reminded Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross that she beat the two of them in a handicap match. Not sure you really want to remind everyone how dumb that was of a booking decision, but whatever. Anyways, Carmella said she doesn't want to wait till later on the show. She wants her match right now. We had Bayley agree to it. We had the match, which was pretty lengthy. The women between Carmella and Bayley, they had about a good 30 minutes of television time, 1/4 of SmackDown, and I guess for good reason, and we'll get to that here in a second. OG85 with a $2 super chat says, Saudi Arabia for WrestleMania. You guys are getting a lot of big events. So you guys are practically getting WrestleMania with all the big matches and return appearances that WWE does when they travel to the country. You got Bill Goldberg. You got Shawn Michaels coming out of retirement. We did not even get Shawn Michaels in the United States for a return match, but Saudi Arabia got him. So OG85, you guys are doing pretty well in Saudi Arabia, just saying. We had this match, which was pretty lengthy, between Carmella and Bayley for the Women's Championship. Carmella got the Code of Silence on, and Bayley got out of it. Carmella got it on again, but then Bayley countered it into a pinfall and used the ropes as leverage to score the victory over Carmella. The referee, of course, did not see the feet on the ropes, so the decision stood. Bayley retained the SmackDown Championship. Bayley attacked Carmella after the match. Naomi made the save, and Naomi kicked Bayley, and then Carmella came in with a super kick to Bayley to knock her out of the ring. Carmella looking pretty strong here in defeat. I thought that they were just going to do a pretty quick match and Bayley would have put her away, but no, they had a long competitive match, and Carmella took out Bayley afterwards, and it was Naomi and Carmella left standing. After the commercial break, we had Bayley interviewed, and it was announced that Bayley will be defending the Women's Championship at Super Showdown. So we will get another women's match in Saudi Arabia. And she talked about how it doesn't matter how she won, her putting her feet on the ropes to beat Carmella. Doesn't matter because a win's a win, and she has beaten everyone. We had a recap of what happened with Baron Corbin, King Corbin, I should say. I always call him Baron, but he's the king, damn it. I gotta get up to speed here. King Baron Corbin. Now, they announced that Corbin was banned from the building. You know what this means. If you have watched enough wrestling shows over the years, you know what's going to happen. When somebody's banned, they somehow find a way to get into that arena. Just saying. And Michael Cole did mention how it was almost 2 decades since a WWE televised event was taking place in Vancouver. Sold out, according to Michael Cole, 14,000. I will take his word for it. I'm not sure if it was that many people, but it looked pretty full. Looked like a good turnout. And like I said earlier, hot crowd. They were very excited to have a televised WWE show in the city. And I say go to Vancouver more often. Vancouver's a great city, like I said. And they should do the Pacific Northwest more often. That region of the country doesn't get enough love as far as I'm concerned. Hell, this upcoming pay-per-view, NXT TakeOver Portland, it's the first pay-per-view in Portland since 2008. Really, 12 years for Portland, Oregon to get a WWE pay-per-view. Just saying. Way too long. We had, and I don't even live there anymore, and I'm still trying to vouch for my good friends in the Pacific Northwest. We had a handicapped match, Sheamus versus Shorty G and Apollo Crews. And as soon as I saw this match get started, I'm like, people are not going to be happy with this match. If Shorty G and Apollo lose, people are going to say they're getting buried. If Sheamus loses, then people are going to say, well, you just ruined his push and, you know, what's the point now? He just lost a match to 2 nobodies. So I felt like booking this match was probably a no-win situation because people would complain no matter what. Now, if it was me, I would not have done the match period for this very reason, but if you're going to have somebody go over, then you go with Sheamus. You're pushing the guy. He's definitely a bigger star than the other 2, although one could argue Apollo never really got much of a chance. Shorty and Apollo got a little bit of offense during the match. Not much. Sheamus went for a brogue kick, and Apollo moved out of the way. Shorty G got hit, knocked off the apron, And then Sheamus hit the Brogue Kick to pick up the victory over Apollo Crews. Not much of a showing for those guys. They were not very game, even in a handicap situation. So it is what it is, you know. Apollo's push ended a long time ago, and the Shorty G gimmick has just pretty much handcuffed him. We had a recap of the Otis and Mandy Rose storyline. Of course, this was the night of their big date. And throughout the show leading up to this point, they showed clips of Otis getting ready and Tucker trying to get him prepared for the date. But Mandy Rose was already at the restaurant. She was sitting there. She was waiting for Otis to show up. And she was looking at her watch, wondering when Otis was going to show up. Otis finally arrived to the restaurant, but as he was entering the restaurant, we cut to Dolph Ziggler, who showed up and took Otis's seat. He sat down next to Mandy. Otis walked in and saw the two of them sitting down together, and you could pinpoint the moment when Otis's heart ripped into two. He had his flowers that he was going to give Mandy. He dropped them to the ground and left in total heartbreak. And yeah, this was quite the segment. Poor Otis. Now, the only issue I had with this was him being really late. Like, dude, it's Mandy Rose. You show up on time for this date. Tucker should have known better. Tucker, I blame you, damn it. You should have said, make a good impression. First impressions are everything. Tucker should have been a good friend and told Otis, you need to show up early for this date. Otis should have been waiting for Mandy, not the other way around. So that's my only issue with the segment. But other than that, I thought it was great. And Otis just does such a fantastic job with this. I really loved the segment. I thought it was well done overall with the whole timing thing. But I get it. You got to have Dolph Ziggler step in and take the spot. Otherwise, you can't really write that segment. So I get it. You had to kind of do it that way. And, you know, Otis is nervous and all that. So I'll give it a pass. I'll go easy on it. Still really good segment. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. He says, where is Sasha Banks? Is she injured? She is apparently injured, and she even mentioned it on Corey Graves' podcast, and that's why she was not at the Royal Rumble. Unfortunately, she's been injury prone. She's been injured a couple of times, and she's always tried to downplay the injuries. Hopefully, she'll be good to go for WrestleMania. Like, I think they should do Bayley versus Sasha, but I think that will really depend on her and if she's clear to wrestle or not. They really haven't done much with her in the storyline, but we'll see if they bring her back once Super Showdown has passed and you could start kicking into high gear for the WrestleMania match, whatever that's going to be. Tic Tat Tat, don't think it's going to be Ember Moon. I don't think she's going to be back that soon, unfortunately. Otherwise, she would be a great choice if she was good to go. Backstage, we had Carmella demanding a rematch because Bayley cheated to win, and she told the Fox executives, name the time and place. She wants that rematch. We then had a Goldberg video package to hype up his upcoming match with The Fiend at Super Showdown, and it was announced that Goldberg, old Whisker Biscuit himself, will be at SmackDown next week in Phoenix. I guess he will be there live, not via satellite. And speaking of via satellite, we had the immortal Hulk Hogan, brother, via satellite to discuss his NWO Hall of Fame induction. He talked about that, and then he was asked about Goldberg. Does he think Goldberg has a chance in hell against The Fiend? Hogan said, yeah, he felt the power of Goldberg back in the day in WCW, but he's also been around the WWE universe, and he has felt the vibes of The Fiend. All of a sudden, it cut to the Firefly Funhouse, black and white. The following announcement has been paid for by the Firefly Funhouse. We had The Fiend bust in, doing the Hulk Hogan guitar, playing the air guitar with the championship belt. He ripped off his shirt. He was wearing this shirt that said, "Not cool to eat your friends," and it had a picture of Mercy the Buzzard eating the Rambling Rabbit. I love that shirt, by the way. And Hogan responded. They did the split screen. Hogan said Bray's a funny guy, but it ain't going to be a joke when the Fiend gets in the ring with Goldberg. And then Hogan wished Bray Wyatt good luck. However, Wyatt said he doesn't need luck because he has the Fiend. And he said, "Be careful, brother, because there can always be room for one more picture on the Fiend's wall of doom." And then he introduced the photo of Hulk Hogan. I really enjoyed this segment a lot. I thought it was great. I love the NWO parody with Bray Wyatt doing the guitar. I thought this was great. Really fun segment here. Good usage of Hogan to set up the Super Showdown match. So I give this segment an A. The Game is on 100 with a $5 super chat says, "It looks like Hogan somehow will be involved with Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania." Not necessarily. And The Game is on 100 adds, "Hogan trains Reigns for the Fiend at WrestleMania. That will be Hogan's doing at WrestleMania." Now, maybe you could have Hogan do something with Reigns, but I don't think Hogan's going to be involved with Bray Wyatt long term. I think this was just a one-off thing to set up Super Showdown. Hey, let's do a segment with Hogan, find a way to get him on TV. You could always do something with Hogan and Reigns, but I don't think Hogan needs to be part of that. I don't think Reigns needs Hogan to coach him for Bray Wyatt. So I think that might be overdoing it a little bit. I think it would be best to just use Hogan once in a while, like here on this show, when there's a good opportunity to do it. Just my take on it. Moving on here, we had a recap of The Rock showing up back at 2011, a little flashback segment, and this was a lead-in to WWE announcing the signing of his daughter, Simone Johnson. They made a big deal out of that, talking about how she's going to try to become the first four-generation female superstar in WWE history. We had Cesaro and Sami Zayn in the ring, and they were protesting. They were protesting the injustice of what happened to Sami Zayn and Shinsuke Nakamura losing the IC title, and the disrespect from Braun Strowman and Elias and the fans. Cesaro had a ukulele, and Cesaro had a cowbell. This was straight out of the Saturday Night Live segment with Will Ferrell with the cowbell, and this was great too. Elias interrupted them, and at first I was pissed at Elias. I was mad because Elias was ruining what could have been a great performance, but thankfully we still got to hear some music from Sami Zayn and Cesaro. If we got nothing, I would have been pissed, but we did get something here. And we had Elias talk about how WWE stands for Walk with Elias. And we had Sami say, "Hey, if you got something important to say, then go ahead and say it." Sami waved off his dollar store security. And then Elias decided to let them do their song. But then the crowd started doing the, "Oh, walk with Elias." And then Sami Zayn started yelling at the crowd. They tried to start the song again. And then that's when Cesaro started doing the cowbell. And I loved it. This was great. Sami told them to stop it. And crowd started chanting, "We want cowbell," because Sami was saying, "Tone down the cowbell." And then he told the fans, Sami Zayn said, "If you don't stop making noise, this concert will be over." Of course, the crowd did the yes chants. And then Elias went after Sami Zayn. He had enough. Cesaro attacked Elias from behind. Braun Strowman made the save. And then Elias and Strowman grabbed one of the security guards and just tossed him like he was nothing over the top rope onto the other security guards. Another great segment. I really enjoyed the non-wrestling segments on this show. This was a great sports entertainment SmackDown between the Otis stuff and Cesaro with the cowbell and Sami Zayn with the ukulele and Hogan and Bray Wyatt. We had some really fun segments on this show. I was sports entertained. I know some of you guys like all the wrestling and the high spots and the flips and the flops, but this is the kind of show I like when we got some sports entertainment. Good stuff here, and I was laughing. I thought the segments were legitimately funny on this show. I thought Cesaro was great, and the Bray Wyatt stuff was funny as well. Now, Psycho Jet Black with a $5 super chat says, when Sami Zayn, Cesaro, and Nakamura split up, who will be the face and who will be the heel? Also, do you think Sami Zayn would re-sign with WWE? I could see Sami Zayn eventually going babyface. I mean, he's done really well as a heel, but he's also a great babyface character. I think it depends if WWE's actually going to do anything with him. The thing about Sami is he can talk, and that benefits him as far as being a heel goes. With guys like Ricochet and Humberto Carrillo, these guys, it's going to be hard for them to go heel because they're not really known for their verbal skills. Sami can talk, so Sami can do either thing. So if WWE needs a babyface underdog character, they can turn Sami. But otherwise, Sami can do the heel stuff and be the chicken shit heel. He can do both. Maybe turn Cesaro face, although Cesaro seems to work better as a heel. Maybe Nakamura. I think it could go any of those directions. I don't think there's any clear-cut, this guy should be face, this guy should be heel. And yeah, I think Sami Zayn will stay with WWE. Again, he's a sports entertainer. He can wrestle. He can talk. I think he'll be around for a while. We had Naomi interviewed backstage, and she talked about wanting a title shot and said that Bayley never beat her. Talked about how the glow is real. Now, maybe my memory is already foggy, but I could have sworn Naomi took the pin last week, which really doesn't give her a good argument for getting another title match. Now, at least WWE did not just give Naomi a title match. Next week, it will be Carmella versus Naomi, with the winner challenging Bayley for the women's title at SmackDown. And Kev Dog does confirm she did take the pin. So at least they're doing the match. If they just said Naomi's getting the title match, then I thought that would have been a really bad idea. Just giving her a match after she got pinned last week. So at least she has to earn it. I am a little surprised, though, because I figured they were saving Naomi for WrestleMania, but maybe we are going to get Sasha and Bayley at WrestleMania, so we'll have to wait and see. Then we had our main event of the evening. We had The Miz and John Morrison come out for their match with Roman Reigns and a mystery partner. I was pretty certain that the mystery partner was going to be Daniel Bryan. Like, that was the obvious choice, but WWE decided to milk it and hype up the mystery partner throughout the broadcast. We had Miz and Morrison take a little shot at the Usos, who were not on SmackDown because, well, they cannot enter Canada. Because of the DUI arrests, Canada has a very strict policy with that, and they cannot work in Canada. So Miz and Morrison referenced that and said that it's only been 1 month and the Usos already need their cousin, Roman Reigns, to fight their battles for them. Daniel Bryan came out, of course, as the Big Dog's mystery partner. And then we had Baron Corbin show up. He had a ticket. He pulled a Chris Jericho, showing up with a ticket. This was kind of duh. We knew this was going to happen. Miz did a big dive over the corner, diving onto everybody to the outside of the ring. And after commercial break, Miz hit the skull-crushing finale to Roman Reigns, and Daniel Bryan made the save. It wasn't just a Roman Reigns kick-out. It was Daniel Bryan making the save, so that was a little interesting. Roman came back. He hit the Superman punch on Miz, but really did not get all of it. It was not the best Superman punch. He then hit the spear to pick up the victory over the Miz. number one contenders for the tag team titles, losing right before Super Showdown. You know what? If I was booking this, I probably would have had Daniel Bryan take the fall because Bryan's not really doing much right now. But they're trying to rehabilitate Bryan after the back-to-back losses to The Fiend. So I kind of get it. And Miz is the weak link, with Morrison just coming back. You don't want to have Morrison lose. But yeah, not sure how I feel about the tag team number one contenders losing before they're supposed to face the New Day. But let's face it, that match isn't really that important. What's important is building up Roman Reigns for Baron Corbin one more time because we got to see that match again. Baron Corbin showed up, of course, hit Roman Reigns with the scepter, of course, got up on the stage and stood up on his throne, and that was the end of SmackDown. So, the main event really did not blow me away. We only had 3 matches on the entire show. Bayley versus Carmella, the handicap match, Sheamus versus Shorty G and Apollo, and then the main event with Roman and Bryan against Miz and Morrison. But like I said, I really enjoyed the non-wrestling segments on this show. I'm going to give the show, I liked it better than last week. I'm not going to say it was an A show because the main event really did not blow me away, but I'm going to give it a B+. I was very entertained by this SmackDown. Good shit here. And I mean that, not just making fun of Vince. I did think it was pretty good shit overall. Let's see what you guys thought. OG85 with a B. Joseph with a C-. Tic Tat Tat with a B+. Kev Dog with a B+. People's Wrestling Channel with a generous C+. Michael Wayne with a B+. Mike B with a B+. Luis Ortiz with an A. Matt Helms with a B+. And The Game Is On 100 with a B+. And Christopher Mace with a solid B. Also, the crowd, I think, brought it up a little bit. They were a very hot crowd this week. So, Hero Villain 5 says B+ extra for the hometown, which I agree with. And Calvin Bowman with a B+. So, a lot of B+. Pretty good ratings for SmackDown this week. Mike D with a $5 super chat. Thank you very much for that, Mike D. I appreciate it. His super chat says, what are your thoughts on the rumored AJ Styles versus Undertaker match at WrestleMania? I like it if it happens. I don't know how many matches Undertaker has left, but that's a match we haven't seen before. Legend versus current guy. I like it. And I like the whole play on words, the Phenom versus the Phenomenal One. I like it. Good tagline for WrestleMania. So I'm all for it. If Undertaker's able to do it, if anybody could get a good match out of Undertaker, it would be AJ Styles. So I would definitely like to see it. AJ's a heel now, so it works out. AJ is the heel versus The Undertaker. And I think the crowd heat would be really good for it, too. Fans, even though AJ's the heel, they still like him. So it would be a nice dynamic. I am definitely a supporter of that match if it's true, if that's a match that WWE's looking to do at WrestleMania. Psycho Jet Black with a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. I appreciate it, Psycho Jet Black. He says, if Baron Corbin was a better wrestler or talker, would people not hate on him as much? Also, when Sasha comes back, will she be a face or heel? I think Baron Corbin is good in both categories. I don't think he's the best wrestler or the best talker, but I think he's really solid. And for a big man, he can move pretty well. I think he gets a bad rep sometimes. I think Baron Corbin's a really solid performer. He does deliver in the ring, and he gets people to boo him, which is something that we don't see a lot in wrestling these days. You got heels that always have to pander and, get people to chant with them. Corbin just does a straight-up old-fashioned heel. So I think he does a great job overall. And as far as when Sasha Banks comes back, will she be a face or heel? If she's facing Bayley, I think she's got to go back to being a babyface. That's the thing. Both of them turned heel. But at this point, I think they should go with Sasha and Bayley. And one of them's got to turn, and since Bayley pretty much reinvented her character, I think it would be better for Sasha to be the face in the match. So by default, I would say bring her back as a face and do her versus Bayley at WrestleMania. And Ken, terminated by Google, with a $5 super chat. Thank you very much for that, Ken. Much appreciated. He says, speaking of Baron Corbin, your t-shirt makes Corbin's waiter outfit look like Brooklyn Brawler. Keep looking sharp, Rift. By the way, please no Hogan versus Corbin. Well, yeah, I had to wear a collared shirt today because it's Valentine's Day, so got to bust it out one day of the year. You guys know me if you've been watching the videos. Like, I never wear collared shirts. It's just not my thing. And as far as Hogan versus Corbin goes, I think you're pretty safe. I don't think you have to worry about that. I really don't think Hogan's wrestling again, nor do I think it's a good idea. Like, I suppose Hogan could be like in a 6-man tag and tag in and people could run into his boot, but I get it. Hogan's last match was in TNA and he would like to come back and have his final match in WWE. They might be able to pull it out of their ass. I mean, hell, Bret Hart did a match at SummerSlam 2010. He was part of the Team Cena versus Team Nexus, and he just came in there, did a few moves, and then got DQ'd or something. So they theoretically could do that with Hulk Hogan. You know, Bret could not take any bumps because of the concussions and the stroke. So same rule applies to Hogan. Can't really take any bumps or do anything, but I suppose he could come in there for a minute and throw a couple punches and people could run into his foot. Mike D with a $2 super chat, thank you for that, says, are you going to WrestleMania in LA next year? I am hopeful. I would definitely like to go back to my neck of the woods for WrestleMania in Los Angeles, check out the new stadium, meet up with people. My mom lives in LA, so I'm always out there visiting her. Easy trip to go out there, see her, and then go watch WrestleMania. So yeah, I would definitely like to do that, and I will keep you guys posted on that. Now, Mike B, not Mike D, with a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Mike B. I appreciate it. He says, I'm turning heel on Ken terminated by Google by giving him the Rift Inator. Sorry, not sorry, Ken. Just kidding. I like that super chat, Mike B, and I really do appreciate it. I appreciate all the super chats from you guys. Thank you very much. Now, just a quick reminder, this Sunday night, I will be doing a live recap of the NXT TakeOver Portland pay-per-view. Please spread the word. If you enjoyed this video, click on the subscribe button, turn on that notification bell to get updates, and just spread the word. Share this link to this video on social media, on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, any site that you go on. Any friend you have who watches wrestling, have them check out the channel. Word of mouth really does go a very long way. I will be back on Sunday. Thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. I really do appreciate it. And everyone that shares the video, thank you as well. I will see you guys Sunday night. Take care, everyone. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you after NXT TakeOver Portland.